Hello friends, welcome back to the Dr. Tristos channel. That's me, I'm Dr. Tristos. I wanted to make a summary of this TRS-NET here and point out some important facts. To begin with, I demonstrated in the first video it somewhat networks with the GP2000. That was a side benefit. That was not its original intention. I hope that one day we can get this working to where it'll work more in real time and whatever caching or buffering I have going on, if that's the problem, I get it worked out. For right now, you can get transfer files over. A lot of times, for example, I use software tools on on the GP2000. I may use programs or software tools to create these command files for the network and other functions. And then I need to get those files out of the GP2000 emulator into the TRS-OS based or Tristos platform. So with that being said, the side benefit is exactly that, a side benefit, and it has utility purposes. I mean, sometimes you can always transfer files over. Sometimes I run into situations where you don't have the buffering problem, and then other times, like in the last video, that's how it works. But the whole point is, this is a side benefit, and it does have some utilitarian function, but that's not its TRS-NET's purpose. TRS-NET's purpose is to be able to capture these print jobs. You could do that on the TRS-80, by routing the printer to a file, but you would use the storage space. And not only that, we want to get the data file over onto a PC platform, and it's an easy way to do it. And then from here, we can, use modern tools to copy, paste, cut, print. Let's see here. Even the free command on the TRS-80 can be sent to told that you want the output printed. Alright, so if we look now, the results of free has been appended on. So we decide we want to make a map of the cylinders in use on drive 0 and send it to the printer. It'll work just fine. And again, you can copy, cut, paste with these files, or you can delete the whole file and it'll start a new one over, whatever you want to do. Again, this could be expanded in the future, that from the Tristos, you could have a command in the Tristos ready prompt over here. You could actually tell it to change to a new file over here. Even give it the file name. We can make it so it would store with a specific file name. All that just takes coding. If you have the time, want to do it. Sounds easy at first. I can make it so we send the file name over. Well, what if that file name already exists on the PC, or it's an invalid file name format, or other reasons, or for some reason you can't create a file? You got to report that back to the TRS-80 to report it to the user if you're going to have it working like a professional program should. I want to point out here the print. We're at 8515 bytes, and this is a lot like a PC. I mean, like not working on a PC. To send one character, you use many bytes to send one character. So the document is not 8515 bytes. But this will be an example. We've done some printing since a screen last updated, so let's do net stats from the TRS-NET. Oh, great. What happened? Oh, it's still there. It just scrolled up. Huh, I'll have to check into that. We were at 8515. Oh, I know why. You need to make your window, make sure it's large enough to contain a full page, or it scrolls. So now if we do net stats over here, don't make a liar out of me, please. Yeah. So now, as you can see, it stayed the same. You didn't see anything really change because it all happened in a fraction of a second. When I type, it's going to scroll that off the screen and draw a new one, but it's so quick you don't even see it. Anyway, the controls keep incrementing, and the stats keep incrementing each time I type that, and we can see that it's 9,720, what we were at 8,500 or something before range. So that's how you get the statistics to update on the PC's screen. The other purpose of TRS-NET is to provide storage to the TRS-OS based platform. I decided not to write a driver for SD cards and go down that route. Specifically, well, again, let me point out that TRS-OS, it's gone after you see LS-DOS ready. TRS-OS is gone. You're still running byte for byte a binary version of LS-DOS 6.3.1, I believe it is. What has changed is the drivers. There had to be the keyboard and the display driver are the same. It required a new printer driver. It required a new floppy disk. It required a new serial port driver, and then we had to add a driver for the second UART1, and also the real-time clock needed a driver. This is additions to the operating system. It's not changing the operating system, especially keyboard and video have remained the same. But it's the same. It's exactly what the operating system is intended to do. Had they built a new machine after the Model 4, the drivers would have been the only part they really needed to change to make it work on a new machine. Of course, there's a lot of other changes, but it makes it simple. Or if you want to add hardware, just like you add a hard drive to a Model 4 or other things. You know, this is the same way it works on a large-scale computer. You can create new drivers, remove drivers, add drivers, delete them, and adapt your operating system to the hardware platform that you're on. So that being said, I told you TRS-OS is gone. Its purpose was to load and start executing LS or TRS-DOS. However, there is all these custom drivers that's inside, and there's then the TRS-OS uses high memory, and part of that is used for the old video page because we don't have separate RAM for video here, and so yeah, there's some high memory used also for code and then also for the video data. But otherwise, you're running on a bit for byte copy of 631. It's quite a testament to Roy Soltoff to make it that portable. And he intended for this to be portable, and had it continued on, you would have seen it would have been ported like CP/M to many different platforms, maybe if it would have took off and been a big success, but that wasn't meant to be. So all that being we have storage now. Over here on our server page, remember when we boot it up, we can specify the file. Right now it's a 720K systems disk. You can have as many files on the PC as it will hold, as many different file names as you can come up with, and again in the future, maybe we could expand this, make it from the TRS-NET side that you could tell the server to dismount this 720K and mount a different volume. And of course, we could always expand to have it service multiple volumes or drive slots of the TRS-80. We could have 6 or 8 drives. Right now, it just handles one drive 6. So we can change the file name. You can also have different directories. You can, when it's booting up, you can change the path to the data files, and it's going to, since this resides in desktop TRS-NET, and then we're specifying from there which folder, volumes folder, then this data file. There again, on boot up, you could change that. You could make different folders with different files. I tried to add some flexibility there. It's free. What can I tell you? As long as you want to modify it, copy it, I would ask that you retain my message. That's about it. At least for people using TRS-NET on Agon, I understand they can get their UART1 port out to a PC. I don't know. I don't use the Agon. For those using the Circle M, the Circle M is the easiest one of all because the ports are already available on the USB cable. When you plug in the Circle M hardware to the PC, it already sees UART0, UART1. My software here easily connects, and I forget what baud rate that I have tested at, but I went to lengths at putting traps in that if I got an error on, I have it set up to, if it gets an error, to do retries, and I think it's about 256 retries if one of the packets has an error. I don't think I ever had one error. The retry counter has never incremented once. That was using the Circle M hardware, but your serial port is right on the USB. It's a pretty solid signal. My cables going to development systems, I can't say that I've tested to see how high I could go on the baud rate on a cable driven 12-foot cable out on the desk. So I wanted to cover this. I wanted to tell you the important the important facts of TRS-NET, and we got sidetracked earlier networking it with the GP2000. That was never its intention. We can get some side benefit out of there, and sometimes transfer files over that we've been maybe processing. For example, I use the process command on an actual TRS-80, and I convert binary files to command files with that, and it's just easy to do, and this makes it easy to move the files over and back. I just have to be careful that both systems get updated on both sides, but there again, that's not its purpose right now. For those running TRS-OS, the other thing is, I think that you will find this comes out exactly, the floppy driver. Let me cover that real quickly. So the floppy driver now, built into the floppy driver, it recognizes disks. We can also feed it a flat binary file that is, uh, 360K or really, I don't think I put a limit on it. But if we could just have a binary file that we feed this, and it should recognize that. There again, it'll recognize the disk, and then it also does the network. All of the software for the networking is in, except for the network commands, is all inside the floppy driver. What else we got in there? There's other. That's the RAM. Oh, also the RAM drive, where it's running, for files out of memory. So all of this, and I think if you, I think it's almost exactly the same size as the original floppy driver. 641 bytes. So I would have to check that, but it's real close to being the same original size, I think. I could be wrong, but I know there's not a big difference. If it is, it's towards the improvement side. This gives us a lot of flexibility in storage here, and at the same time provides our printer output to get it over to a PC. We don't want to try to send the printer output directly to a laser printer. That would take a lot of work. But if we send it to a text file that we can, use editing software to send it to your laser printer, all the work is done for us. So I was happy with the way that worked out. There's also the advantage here of also, I think I may have used some EZ80 machine instructions. They have some instructions that was not originally allowed on the TRS-80, Z80, but instructions they've added. For example, I'm certain I used the multiply instruction in here to calculate cylinder relevance to its place in memory. So yeah, that's it. Just wanted to cover these facts with you, and hope you have fun playing with it, and let me know if you have any questions or comments. Thanks.